Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning on this wonderful Sunday. Thank you for being a part of this great weekend we've had celebrating the Bauhaus. If you've got a chance to watch the film, the new Bauhaus, you're going to enjoy this workshop very, very much because you're going to be putting to practice the very elements that you got to see in the film about the hands-on learning, new ways of thinking. We're very excited about this workshop, which is one of the closing programs that we have for this weekend. If you haven't seen the film, of course, you can still register and watch the film. And we appreciate you being here with us this Sunday morning. This is part of our Activation Plus programming. It's an educational component that we are providing the community, and we're very excited for our dear friend of mine, someone I'm very appreciate very much, to be leading this workshop today. If you don't know her, I'm going to introduce her. Professor Silvia Pease is now a fantastic graphic designer. She's a theorist and educator, and like I mentioned, she teaches at Florida International University. She was trained in the Swiss Modernists at the Bauhaus School of Design. She received her BFA and MFA from the University of Miami, and she is a fellow at the IDSA doing her doctorate work on researching design on social change. So incredible, fantastic work. She's a scholar, an artist, and a theorist. So you're gonna love this workshop. She has extensive years of work as a designer, both in Peace Design, Carrigal Peace Design, and 1231.org. So you can check that out. Just see her work, her portfolio. And she's involved in the community, you know, not just as a professional working, but giving back and mentoring young people. She's a member of the AIGA, American Institute of Graphic Arts, and she is a chair of the education there as a board member. And she's a fantastic person. A dear friend, I can't say enough great things about her. And like I said, you're in for a treat today. You're really gonna get to put to practice all the wonderful elements that make the Bauhaus so special, the way of thinking, the hands-on approach, new ways. And so with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Professor Pease, who's going to be leading the workshop this morning.
Thank you. Well, I hope I can live up to all those titles. Thank you, Grace. Thank you very much. And I want to thank the community, the Dorcam community, Doral Contemporary Art Museum for their fantastic work, and all the sponsors that helped us put this program together. And especially I want to thank every one of you, the participants. I really appreciate you taking the time and going through another Zoom meeting, as if we don't have enough, and for this workshop. Hopefully it'll be fun. I will give you a few tips so we start. I want you to familiarize yourselves with the platform, with the Zoom platform. So at the bottom of your screen, you have a chat icon, an icon that says chat. So please click on that icon and make sure it opens a window on the right, because we're going to be communicating and chatting throughout the entire process. And by the way, I want you to meet somebody who is visiting today from one. She's keeping the distance. Her name is Rebecca Chugrat. Hi, Rebecca. Rebecca is helping us today with the workshop, and she's also going to be directing the chat with us. And there will be questions throughout the workshop and communication. So keep your microphones in mute, and then just communicate via the chat, so we avoid interruptions at the beginning, and then we'll open the session. What else do I have to tell you? Oh, well, let's see. Para los que nos están viendo desde otras partes, y entonces por favor diríjanse abajo a donde dice chat, y allí pueden poner sus mensajes y demás, y me gustaría que pongan su nombre, que digan hola. Así sé, porque yo no los veo, pero así sé quiénes están presentes. Please put your name on the chat so we practice, and then that way I know who's here, and it will be fabulous to see all of you. I see two. Elizabeth is here. Who else? Carlos. Oh, hi, Carlos. It's been a while. Who else? Marco. Oh, wow. Rebecca, Rosie, Andy. I can't believe it. Everyone is here. Laura. Oh, Laura. Oh, great. So Grace gave you the number. Excellent. Amy, well, this is the way we'll communicate during the workshop. So it will take a little while, but if it takes just practice and until you're able to write your name and say hi through the chat. Wonderful. So we will start by looking at, by watching a video. Let me share the video with you.
What do folding chairs, boxy buildings, desk lamps and subway signs all have in common? There's a little Bauhaus in all of them. Bauhaus was a German design school that united art and technology in a new way. By bringing artists and sculptors together with architects and engineers to teach in partnership under one roof. Students were taught how to think creatively and experiment with different materials, forms and techniques, applying a holistic approach to design. So, if a student wanted to design a chair, they'd know which materials were strong, comfortable and easy to mass produce. By the time the Nazis forced the school to close in 1933, some teachers and students had already begun to flee, taking the Bauhaus design philosophy all over the world. Partly why you can see the Bauhaus influence almost everywhere 100 years later.
Just want you to see this. Well, so as you can see, if you look at the building, that's Bauhaus is everywhere. If you really examine the shapes and the buildings, there's a special language of vision that was introduced during the Bauhaus, and that language informed graphic design, it changed the way we designed forever. And of course, not only graphic design, architecture, and all other disciplines. Bauhaus is about this abstract language. So I particularly like the introduction of this website because it simplifies. It has that concept of synthesizing completely a building into geometric shapes, a pot into geometric shapes. And that's basically what we're going to be doing today. We're going to start defining and creating geometric shapes and creating this visual language, this abstract language. And we will also talk about a little bit this, the way the Bauhaus was taught was in a very experimental manner. There were experimental laboratories. It was called Vorkus, or basic course. And during this, the classrooms, and people would just be relaxed and experiment and come up with ideas, and mixing art with technology, art, craft, and technology. That's the formula. Everything merges together during the Bauhaus. Let me stop this now and continue with the presentation. This is so exciting. I'm so glad you were able to share us today. It's wonderful. What a terrific opportunity, right? Okay, great. So, all right. So here we start with our workshop, right? There are a few little things for you to keep in mind, and I will give you these hashtags later on. But when you're done with your tote, I'd like you to send us pictures and to please use those two hashtags, My Bauhaus Tote and Peace Bauhaus Lab. That way we can keep track of your work, and I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it because most of you will not be able to finish it during the workshop, but you will have a good start and idea, because the concept is that I will introduce ideas to trigger those creative juices. And I know that some will be doing the actual bag and others will be creating this digitally. In any case, you feel free while you're watching this to grab a little pencil or pen and just start writing and drawing. So these are the three very important images that we're going to see during the process. And it's very important that you remember them, because every time you see this, you'll have to react to a question in your chat. So it is a triangle, you know, let me stand up a little bit. I like to change this. It's a yellow triangle, a red square, and a blue circle, right? What is it? What does it mean in the Bauhaus? We'll find out. We'll soon find out. Oh, before, if you can put that in the chat, Becca, there's this, this is a link, and you can save all the resources of the chat, but this is a very interesting link. And it's the Bauhaus Dessau, it's the foundation. You know, the foundation, especially now that we are 100 years into the Bauhaus, the foundation is in charge of keeping all the resources and the archives in place. And it's a UNESCO World Universal Cultural Heritage Site since 1996. So not only they preserve, but they make sure that everything is accessible to the public. So you might want to eventually go and visit that website that we posted on our chat. So what are the principles of Bauhaus? If you've seen the movie, as Chris mentioned, you probably know by now, but if you haven't, I'm not pretending to create an art history class here, but yes, just to give you a few concepts, that art should serve a social role, because remember that this was during World War I, and so then the Bauhaus improved the people's living condition after the war. And that was the idea, the concept. And it was going to unite art, craft, and technology, as I mentioned before. Very important concepts. Where was it founded? Where did it start? It started in Weimar in 1919 by the architect Gropius, Walter Gropius, right? And eventually it moved in 1925, so to Dessau. So it started in Weimar and it moved to Dessau. And here's Walter Gropius. He's the founder of the school. And I put the little logo there, 100 years of Bauhaus, 1919, 2019. So they celebrated 100 years last year. That's why this website has a lot of content, and they did all kinds of celebrations. And it was quite exciting to visit and see. Here's the house, the Bauhaus Weimar house in 1919 to 1925. It was designed by the architect Henry van der Velde. And this photo is a courtesy of Bauhaus Cooperation with Kay, another good resource for those of you who want to study this further. And of course, then it moved from Weimar to Dessau in 1925 till 1932. And this building is the one that Gropius designed. And it gave him, this project here, it gave him the opportunity to really design something specifically for the movement and for the school. And it's quite an amazing place to visit. And here is one of the teachers, Marcel Breuil, and the students. But I selected this photo because as a woman, I study, you know, feminist theory and all that. And there's lots of writings about the style, because the Bauhaus was a philosophy. Women cutted their hair and they dressed masculine in a way, if there's such a thing, clothing to talk about this idea of equality even then. So it was quite I like this photo. I think it represents the philosophy of Bauhaus. And it was, oh, wait a minute. We have the triangle, the square, and the circle. What happens now? We get some questions on the chat. So you're going to see a question, take a few minutes, and let's see who answers. I just want to check if you guys are paying attention. That's all I have to say. Let's see. Okay, do I get to see the chats? I hope so. Okay, so we have questions? Mm-hmm. Oh, good. I don't get to see them. Wait a minute. Are you getting answers? No. Oh, come on. I can't believe it.
You should see where it says chat. There should be
Oh, yes, I see it now. Thank you. Chat, more chat. I just saw it. Okay. Oh, wonderful. All different disciplines. Okay. Art, technology, and craft. Oh, good. What did the Bauhaus philosophy unite? Good. Art, technology, and craft. All different disciplines. Yes. I think it is. Oh, you were answering the other one. The arts, crafts, and technology. Excellent. Yeah, let's continue with the next questions. Wow, I have an excellent group of students here. That's great. So the Bauhaus united the art, technology, and crafts. That's good. When was it founded and where? Oh, you know the when. You know the when because I said that we just celebrated 100 years. So it's a simple math there. So 1919 in Germany. Good. Good. Weimar. Weimar. Good. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. So what is the next question? You see, you're getting the answers too fast. All right. So the next question is that? Mm-hmm. What is it?
Who founded the Bauhaus?
Who founded the Bauhaus? Gropius, exactly, Gropius. Yes, excellent. Walter Gropius, excellent. Very good. What else?
The next one was just posted.
Uh-huh.
Where did it move?
Where did it move? So from Weimar, it moved somewhere else. And that's where Gropius really created the building and everything. That's all. That's all. Very good. Fabulous. Good. Let's move on. I feel now that we're ready. Okay. So instead of academic theory, the Bauhaus rely on a pluralistic educational concept. As we said before, this idea of bringing all the disciplines. It's okay if you do design, if you do photography, painting, we're all artists, weaving, everything. All the education and the disciplines come together. On creative methods and on the individual development. So we do have different ways of learning and different talents. I always say that we all have a talent. It's just a matter of discovering that talent. So as educators, our role is to help the students discover that talent, whatever it is. But it's an individual development. It's not imposing what we think. So that was very much part of their philosophy. And so then everybody could study there, regardless of their educational background, gender, or nationality. And by the way, the interesting data is that there was a 25 to 50% ratio of women and 17 to 33% ratio of foreign students. So this is completely different of what the typical European traditional way of teaching art was before, right? This changed completely the way, it was very inclusive, extremely inclusive. Yes. Oh, okay. So I like this chart. The one on the left is, of course, in German. It's a schema, and then it was created by Gropius. And on the right, of course, you have the translation. So if you look at the translation, there is a basic course, that Vorkus, that took a couple of years. And then in the building, they study all the different disciplines together. They study nature, materials, how do materials affect our production. And another very interesting way the experimentation, this empirical experimentation was part of what they believed in. So they looked at color, textile, how did color affect us? What is the relationship between form and color? The different materials. And it was quite an inclusive method of study. And here, the Bauhaus masters, I will not try to recognize them, but I can send you the list. But this is an iconic image of all of them. And there's a woman here, and they look very formal. They were very intellectual. And then the way, I mean, they were thinkers, something that I think we need to promote as artists, it's fabulous to write and think. What do we believe in? Have we lost the connection as artists? I think this universal thought needs to come back. And I selected this chart created by Andrea Riegel as part of the exhibition catalog in 1968, because it gives you an idea to wrap this up. Bauhaus Weimar, Bauhaus Dessau, Bauhaus Berlin, and from 1919 till 1933. Actually in Berlin, they just stayed a few months at the end. And these are the directors of each school and sort of the tendencies. And at the end, it wasn't as politically involved as at the beginning, but still during the Nazis, the school had to close. And what they did is most of them came to the States. And thank God, they're wonderful, because they arrived here and created a new Bauhaus Chicago in 1937. And here's a photograph that shows of the Chicago Bauhaus School, which was actually in the former house of Marshall Field, here on the right. And we see Dr. Walter Gropius and Laszlo Moholy-Nagy on the famous circular staircase with some of their students. It's a beautiful place. And this is how it started in Chicago. And then it, of course, moved from there to other disciplines. And it still exists in Chicago, the School of Bauhaus. And the logo that was created by Moholy-Nagy. Oh, we have a stop. We again have the famous yellow triangle, the red square, and the blue circle. What does it happen now? Rebecca, do we have questions?
I just said, what did the Bauhaus rely on?
What did the Bauhaus rely on? In other words, what was important for the Bauhaus during the Bauhaus philosophy? What did they believe in? Are we getting any answers? No? Oh, not a break yet. Oh, I have it here. I was looking for the chat. Pluralistic education, fabulous. Creative methods, good. Hi, Emmy. Good to have you. Well, some of my students are warming up for tomorrow. Individual development of students' talent, perfect. Good. Arts should serve a social role, fabulous. Individual talent, wonderful. Andy, good. Wonderful. So, excellent. That's exactly it. Good, good answer. So, what we're going to do now is, because you're a great learner, we're going to take a 5-minute break. And I want you to grab all your materials. Like, for example, a bag, if you're doing like a regular bag, like this. And then maybe some pieces of paper. and a ruler. And maybe, do we have more materials? Let's see. I want to show you something that is very, very useful. Do we have, well, the pencils, the pen, but this is very useful. What I did here is, let me come here so I fit in there. Hold on. Okay, so I put a piece of paper inside. It's more of a board, it's a simple board or something that you have around the house. So when you start drawing, that I started doing some drawings here, when you start drawing, then it doesn't go to the other side, especially if it is a thin tote that you're going to be working on, okay? So get all your materials out, take a little break, 5 minutes, I already spent 4, no, 3, 2. We're going to start, let's say 3 minutes now, and we'll come back and start with our design process. Good. Okay, we're back. Good, wonderful. So let's see, we're going to look at the images now. Hold on just a second. All right. So this is Kandinsky's test, actually, the basic shapes and color in design. This is his test. And those are the shapes that you were looking at. So Kandinsky developed this test that hoped to discover a universal correspondence between form and color. So this is the actual, well, Kandinsky's photo on the left, and then in the center, we have the actual form that he would send to the students. And of course, as reference, we can, you can always look at his book, one of his books and writings. He has several. But what he was trying, Kandinsky theory, the equation of the yellow triangle, the red square, and the blue circle. Colors have a certain effect, and differentiated them according to degrees of warmth and coldness, as well as brightness, and darkness. So he attributed properties to color. For example, the yellow was eccentric and prominent, while the blue at the end was concentric and receding. So, of course, the middle point is the red square. Yellow was warm and blue was cold. The color red was a medium warm. So he also thought about pointed shapes. Like, for example, the triangle, since it has the pointed shape, it was the warmest of all the shapes. While, of course, the circle is the opposite. And this middle with the square. So not only color had a relation to shapes, but also the shape itself, the form of that shape. So this is, this is a Kandinsky, based on Kandinsky's subjective feelings, and will, later be used and inspired. If you really study the Bauhaus, you'll see designs that are quite inspired by these forms, especially the early designs in the 1920s. But then eventually, of course, he was criticized, and there are all kinds of theories that we're not going to go into it. But I thought it was interesting to point out that there is such a relationship between the three forms that you've been seeing from the beginning and Kandinsky theory. So now you know the theory, and of course you can read more about that. And we're going to see now, this is one of Kandinsky's etching at the Dessau Foundation. And again, this spirit of experimentations. How do I repeat lines? Do I add circles? Do I do zigzag? Pointillism, all kinds of things to create this idea of floating, idea of movement, of changing a reality or a landscape into abstraction, to the point that you lose the reference to the reality. So learning and teaching, since its founding as a school of the Bauhaus, has been a place of radical new beginnings, with traditional knowledge being replaced by this integral and experimental approach, which moves between art, technology, and the natural sciences, and incorporates sensory experiences. So we have here the triangle, the square, and the circle. And I want you to think and start doing some little sketches on your papers of, okay, we have the three shapes, right? So how can I think of those three shapes? Are they solid? Yes, they are solid here. Are they transparent? Can they overlap? What happens when I overlap? What happens when I change size? What happens when I mix them and I touch one against the other? How does that alter my geometric shape? What happens if we go back and think about the principles of design, which is the point and the line? If we repeat lines, we have a series of lines, we create a pattern. 2 points make a line. So the principles of design are point, line, and plane. We saw planes, we saw a triangular shape, a square, those are planes. This is the point, the red point, and the minute we have 2 points, we have a line. How thick is the line? We can determine how thick the line is. We can repeat planes, points, and line, and that's basically the elements that we need to create any design. Oh, sorry, there. So we have a bag, that we're going to somehow create a design by mixing solid shapes, by mixing shapes that are transparent, shapes changing the sides. And remember, a circle doesn't have to be a circle. It could be an oval shape. It could be a rectangular shape or a very pointed triangle. So it's up to you to vary and overlap and change and experiment. This is the basic principle of the Bauhaus, to experiment. So if we look, I'm going to show a few solutions. This one is Laszlo Moholy-Nagy, and it's called, it's just oil and graphite on canvas. Oh, no, A19. It's called A19, sorry. It was done in 1927. And you see now the circle overlaps the different lines or rectangular shapes or thick lines. And it creates this melange of lines and things going together and circles within circles. And I think that is beautiful because it's almost, it is very technologically oriented, I think, when I look at this. Imagine that we're talking about 1927 when computers had not landed yet, right? That comes in the 80s. So those of us who graduated before them, so then we know this very well. So we're talking about 1927. So these studies now are fabulous, and we can start working on our little studies. As we look at the images, we can start doing some doodles. That's the best way. Can I see what we did here? Yeah, I want to show what Rebecca is doing, which I think is wonderful, actually. Rebecca is working on some doodles, you see, for the little, so just very simple doodles of what exactly do we have in mind? What do we want to do? Do we want to mix everything, or is it just circles, or are we working on? She was really working with rectangular shapes at the beginning. So start playing as we talk, right? And we'll continue looking at other images because my purpose is to sparkle ideas, right? So let's continue. Oh, this one is one of my favorites. This one was done by Joseph Alberts. It's called Vista. And you know why I like this? Because it reminds me of the folding technique, which is like this, right? Alberts did an exercise with his students, which was about folding. And it really, for some reason, I look at this and I think of folding. What happens if a circle is in the center? Can I have a Sharpie? Oh, no Sharpies. Okay. What happens if it is in the circle? Okay, for example, if we have a circle like this, okay, and we fold the circle, okay, what happens if we keep on folding and this part is solid, like Albert's, there's a solid part, and then the other part is not because it's part of a different solid, right? So it's part of a different solid. So this type of experimentation of creating shapes, of overlapping shapes, and putting one shape and changing the positive negative and playing with figure ground is an incredible exercise for designers. And here's a close-up of Albert's. And I did this, I selected this piece. It was done by Elsa Schiemann, and it's called Marble Apples. I like this piece a lot because she did this piece with photographic techniques. We're talking about the old cameras, the photographic, and if you look at the edges, it's quite photographic. So I assume she did it in a dark room, and I haven't read enough about this piece. I know it's a photographic experiment, and she did it in the photo lab. And I find it fascinating. I'm always fascinated by that concept of the early photography and the pinhole camera. For some reason, it brings me to that, but with a very bold and sharp approach to it. Again, remember that during the Bauhaus, we are mixing painting. That's why I showed a painting, etching, photograph, and design. Everything is design. So all the disciplines are coming together. How wonderful is that? All right, I went backwards. And these are just some examples of different bags that I've seen, and I just picked a few for you to take a look at of how, I mean, we have a tote bag, but it doesn't have, you don't have to design a tote bag that, it could be any other object that you have at home. It could be a box, anything. So let's start the process of experimentation. Maybe you prefer to start with a paper and a pencil. As I told you before, I think it is the best idea to start with the doodles, the thinking process. And then you will transfer that onto your bag, right? And you transfer your drawing. You can do it with pencil, or you can do it with a magic marker directly. Or what we did is, where is the paper, the big paper that I have? Oh, here. What I did is, we used a big paper, just a piece of tracing paper, a piece of tracing paper. So what I do is I place it on top. So once you decide on the doodle, you can go back and work on this. Maybe I should, when I stop this, and I'm gonna make the big screen is better. And so then what we'll do is we use the tags to post the finished bag by next Sunday. So you have a project that starts today and ends next Sunday, and that's it. So I'd love to see what you post. I am very excited to see the process, and I hope I have been able to inspire you a little bit to create this Bauhaus experimental approach to design. And I think we still have a few minutes, right, Becca? What time is it?
54.
Oh, perfect, yeah. So let's, as I said before, I'm gonna demonstrate now. Hold on, right here. Okay. So I had all these books to show you about the Bauhaus, but no time, you know. I thought we started a little bit late. That's why I couldn't connect, but I hope, let me see. Oh. Do you see, can you see me on the screen?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. All right. So perfect. So here's the bag. So what we're doing now is we are transferring whatever doodle we did onto the bag, and then of course you will grab all your paints and start painting right after. But I'd love to see if you, well, if you're very, maybe you can take a little photo of what you're doing and post it. Can you post that? Let's see if we can post that. I wonder if you can post it. That would be fantastic if you can send us that. If not, it doesn't matter. Let's just keep on working. And do you have any questions? Oh, what platform do we post it in? I'm so excited to get...
Instagram will be good.
This is excellent. What?
On Instagram, if they can share the hashtag on Instagram, then we'll...
Oh, excellent. Yes, on Instagram. That's a good idea. Yes. On Instagram, we'll share. Yes, if you can share it on Instagram, it will be terrific. That's the platform. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. Yeah, I can't post. Okay. Teacher, your email. My email? No, just post it on Instagram. Oh, to send it? No. No, it's okay. Once you're done, you post it on Instagram. If you're done, if you're already done now, you can you can, I teach at Florida International University. Rosie, oh, you want my email? Oh yes, you can find my email at Florida International University. Yes, that's exactly where I conduct design classes. Yes, I have that same drawing on mine, different media, individual talent. Oh, that was the answer for the other one. Okay, yes. Rebecca just posted the 2 hashtags. So then if you go to Instagram, I think Instagram is the best. And of course, we can become friends too, and we will communicate on Instagram. So Dorcam, of course, the hashtag Dorcam, exactly, thank you. Please tag at Doral Museum and hashtag Dorcam. Thank you very much, good. I didn't know that by memory. These are tags for your amazing Bauhaus inspired designs. Yes, and exactly, we are working on this one. This is one of the ones that Rebecca is working on, which is this, right? So this one is her studies, and what she's going to do is she's just painting here with Sharpies, but then she's going to go back and paint it perfectly with acrylics. And there's this spray that you buy at Michael's or any other place where you can fix all the elements if it's not specifically the paint for fabrics. So at least, you know, it's a way to do it. I mean, there are other fabric paintings and all that. I'm not an expert on that at all, but I think you can research and find the specific materials that you want to do it. But I don't want you to rush, because I think the most important aspect during this workshop was for you to have a little glimpse of what Bauhaus is all about from the view of a designer. So if I can conclude, I would say that Bauhaus, you know, many other designers were inspired by Bauhaus, and one that I teach a lot in my first design class is this, Munari. Bruno Munari is one of my favorites, and he did these little books, right? So he says the square, and he goes on and on and on about how do we find the square everywhere, and what happens if we tilt the square, and what happens if we overlap the square, and what happens if we, so all the different possibilities, deconstructing a shape. And that's what I really want you to think about. And I teach in my first design class, we spend the entire semester deconstructing the geometric shapes. And you cannot believe the beautiful patterns that are created. Here's the famous exercise that talks about the recomposing and creating. How is it that you create a square? You grab a square and you cut it in pieces, and then you take those pieces apart, right? What do you do with those pieces, and how can you compose something with pieces? And there's one of the examples that I show with that car had to do with that. For example, here, look at all the different versions of the square. If we have several squares, how do we make those squares move? What about if your bag needs to have a movement, just like the movement of the piece that you saw in Kandinsky's etching, that he does the dots. When there are lots of dots together, they come closer to you and they're bigger. And when you make the dots smaller, they're receding space. So according to Kandinsky and to many artists, is that we can create this illusion of space by the use of color and by the use of changing the form and the size, by overlapping, right? Now, the other one is the circle that I deal with Munari. Let me see when they have the circle exercises. And again, there's so many things that remind us with the circular shapes. Because when you really study, and if you think of branding, for example, look at all the logos as you're driving. You know, I'm the type of person that goes to the movies and starts correcting the typography. So you don't want to take me to the movies. But as you're driving and you see, for example, a logo, you see a logo, you will notice that almost all of them have a geometric shape. So geometry is everywhere. And now you know that if you really study buildings and everything, you can transfer everything into this abstract language, into a language of abstraction, and simplify the visual environment into abstraction. And that's what the Bauhaus artists were looking for. And I'm sure I went over time. What time is it? Oh, 12:02. No, we have plenty of time. Any questions? Please post your questions. Open camera to show our work. Open camera to show. Oh, I don't think we can do that to show the work. I don't think we can open the cameras. I don't. But what I want you to do is to please post it. If you're ready with your work now, please just post it on Instagram and use the hashtags, as we said, my Bauhaus Tote, @Peace Bauhaus Lab, and then hashtag Doorcam, @Doral Museum, and we'll put everything together and look at them there. Look at this design here, how beautiful. You see how the circular shape, if we have a solid circle and we place a circle inside a circle, we are creating all kinds of connections with that circle, right? Yeah, nice. The Rosetta Stone. Look at the doodles of the circles. Interesting. Oh, think of the logo of Target. That's a circle inside a circle inside a circle, actually. What happens when we place all the circles together and we create a triangular shape? So the studies and the geometry in Bruno Munari is fascinating. And I use him a lot and to teach design. And I think he was trained as an architect, but oh, look at this. This is one of my favorites. A circle within a circle within a circle within a circle, to the point that what happens when we have a circular shape right here on top, and then, is that in there? Yeah, and then it's cut by simple triangles. So the idea of deconstructing one shape or overlapping a variety of shapes is quite a great idea, and I think we need to use it. Well, you did very well, Rebecca, with this. Are we ready to transfer something? Yes? Yes? No? Maybe? Let's see. I love it. It's incredible how you can make so many designs by using the most exactly. Thank you, Anna. Yes, I really like that. Yes, and all the designs. Now you're going to look at the designs differently, because all the designs start there. So you just, there's so many books and things that I'd like to show you, but we're running out of time, but I'm going to show you a little bit more until they cut me off. This is a great book. This is a great book that was given to me, and it's a catalog, and I really like it. And it shows lots of Bauhaus. And here's again the famous photograph that I told you before of all the different Joseph Alberts, Laszlo Moholy-Nagy, Herbert Bayer, Walter Gropius, Marcel Breuer, Kandinsky, Vasily Kandinsky, Paul Klee. You've now Paul work. So they're all there with their work. So it's fabulous. I need to scan that. And of course, when you look at Kandinsky's work, he used a lot that just simple circular shape. So but there's something about the grid when it comes to design. You know, the grid is also very geometric and square. That's why it inspired the modern period, right? So it was very influential. The Bauhaus was very influential for furniture design, the entire modern period. Like, for example, there's that chair that you see there in the background from the modern period. That is inspired on that oval shape, the egg. I think it's called the egg chair now that I think about it. Yeah. So.
Can you hear me? Yeah. If someone wants to show their work, they can raise their hand and we could open the camera one by one.
Oh, that's a wonderful. Oh, thank you.
Give it a try. I think Rosie wanted to try. So there is a way to raise your hand and then I can bring for a minute each person that wants to share.
Oh, fantastic. So now if you want to show your work, then raise your hand. Rosie, are you there? So then raise your hand if you want to show your work and we can let you in to show your work. So that would be fantastic. If you're ready, we'd love to see it. They were able to figure that part out. So that's great. Let's see, let's continue. Another thing to keep in mind is that let's not forget that so the grid and the modern layouts are just fantastic, right? The typography is another area that deserves an entire class. What happens with the typography during the Bauhaus period? Well, the typography becomes very simplified. We have Futura, we have, of course, Helvetica, we have, the typography becomes, we don't want any ornaments. We want simplicity, we want clarity, we want, so typography is quite simple and direct and beautiful typography. Oh, somebody's showing, oh good.
We have Rosie showing her work.
Thank you, Rosie, that's fantastic, good. So you have a sort of a rectangular shape going through a circular shape. That's great. That's very nice. I love it. I think that's beautiful. And it's almost to the size, right? You're working at the size of the...
Yeah. And I'm trying to do in this one. I don't know.
Tell us about it. What was your inspiration?
No, I trying to finish a work today because I always procrastinate. So I try to do it.
Excellent. Well, thank you. That looks very good. You know, it almost has a reference to a musical note. Yeah, this shape, it reminds me of, yeah. So then, have you thought about which shape goes in the front and how do you make that? Or are they both at the same level, visual level? Because you're creating this visual language, right? So once let's say you make it one of those shapes solid. If one of them is solid, what happens to that shape? It comes forward, right? Okay. Now, if you want all of them to be at the same level, so then somehow maybe they should all be outlined and all keep themselves at the same level. So those are decisions that you as a designer will have to take.
And it's okay if they're empty spaces or...
Of course.
Oh,
of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Empty spaces are wonderful.
I was ready with all the materials to finish today.
Oh, well, you need to finish. So then you need to finish today. You guys now put some good music and keep working, of course.
Okay.
We're going to continue working here.
Okay. See, I have the materials and everything.
Excellent. I love it. Oh, good.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Ciao. Elizabeth, welcome. Show us. Oh, I love that. Oh, very nice. How they mix. Oh, but we're seeing another one here. Oh, no, that's Rosie. Rosie's at the front. Let me see. You'll come in next. I think they're going to let you in next. Oh, I see you there. Or maybe you need to talk, so you should come to the left.
Yeah?
Yes, there you go. Yes.
All right. I just started like doing this small, but then, thinking going big.
Very beautiful. Very beautiful. And you know what, Elizabeth, I know you design jewelry. So you as a designer of jewelry, I think it's fabulous because you can use these principles of figure ground in the design of jewelry. And there's a, you know, it could really affect, and even the way you position the stones, or maybe there could be some sort of metal shape that has the structure and then the stones. It's very beautiful what you've done here. Very nice. So also think about the different sizes, because they all seem to be, which is perfectly fine. They could be the same size, but maybe think about, okay, what happens if I vary the sizes? Because in design, there should always be a punctum, what we call punctum. In other words, a place that calls your attention. So the punctum could be created, like for example, when you look at this, you see your eye comes here. Right? Maybe you decide, you can argue that your design has, it's like a sprinkle. It has different functions, and you can argue that is fine. But, you know, so just for you to think about, okay, what do I want? Do I want them to look at everything at once, or do I want them to go to a specific area in my bag? Or is this is just an idea? Or beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. This is great. How exciting. Where are you now? You're far away, right? You're not in Miami anymore. I forgot. In Washington, I think. Oh, hi. Another one. Wonderful. I knew you were going to be here. Talk so you come forward. I can't see it. What's your name? You don't have the microphone on. You don't have the microphone on. Yeah.
Okay.
There.
How about now?
Yes, now you do. Yes.
I wanted to, you know, I like color a lot. I wanted to try to keep it real clean and do black and white. It's super inspiring, all the different shapes. You know, I like color, but I think I'm really attracted to all the black and white. And it's, you know, I saw the tea kettle there at the beginning. I really love it, Silvia. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. I think, yes, the black and white, there's something about black and white that is so attractive and calls
Clean.
Yes, and you are an artist that always creates with lots of color. So maybe now a switch.
Exactly.
An interesting, yeah, something interesting to experiment with.
I love it. Super inspirational.
Thank you.
I really like the whole idea.
Yeah.
The circle inside the circle. I really like that.
And it creates sort of a, it seems like there's a balance, or, you know, with that beautiful line. And then when that moves, it creates a sense of movement. When that moves, it touches, and and black becomes black. This is quite an interesting area for you to continue studying, the top left. Very nice. Good. Good. Excellent. Oh, great. Oh, everybody's so... It's such a hard worker. So Gracie, I don't think we met. Hi, Gracie. Oh, your microphone needs to go.
Good morning.
Good
Hi.
morning. Oh, look at all the imagery that you have in your back.
Yeah.
I love that.
This is what I've been sketching at.
Excellent. Oh, look at that. Again, it has a very strong sense of movement because of the lines. Let me see it again. So beautiful. Very nice. Okay, square, rectangular shapes, and you're going to keep it in maybe in the primary colors.
Yeah, the Bauhaus triad, I guess you'd call it.
Very good. Well, thank you for joining us. I'm glad you're enjoying and working hard. Good.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing the finals, eh?
Yeah.
No? Yes. Okay, good. Good. Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna.
Thanks. Grace, hi. Oh, I love it. Let's see. You say hello so you come forward to the screen. Otherwise, I can't see you.
I think, am I on mute?
No, you're not. Oh, the idea of the bird that you can see from your window.
The bird, because of my grandson's drawings. That's my grandson's drawings. Okay, that's a 6-inch drawing.
Look at that. Ah, so beautiful. Look at, well, he's an artist, that's for sure.
This is a 4.5-year-old.
Imagine. I mean, he's
Anyway.
an artist. He's one. he needs to move to Miami. We're gonna
That's the inspiration.
No. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks. Yes.
I think that's all the people who wanted to show their work.
Okay, wonderful. So we're going to end this this workshop, but it doesn't end here. Rebecca, let's say goodbye. Goodbye until the hashtag, right? Until the next hashtag. So make sure you share your finished products. We would love to see it. And would love to see the digital or real bags or any object. And I'm glad you enjoyed this program. Hopefully we'll be able to do it again. And oh, thank you, Anna. Oh, all the wonderful thank yous. Thanks. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. And you know, well, classes start, for those of you who are at FIU, we start tomorrow. So that's it. This was a warm-up. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. Wonderful. Great. Wonderful. I will see you soon. Keep on creating. And I know these are not so fun times for some, for all of us. They're different. But I think through the creative process, we create this, we create a space of that balances us. So it's part. So make sure you involve everybody in your family. And again, I want to thank Dorcam for this opportunity. I enjoyed every minute of it, and I'm going to finish my bag now. See you next time. Take care.
Thank you, Silvia.
Bye. Thanks.
In just 16 years, Doral has grown into a model city with top-notch quality of life that its residents have helped to achieve through active participation in the community and collaboration with the city's government officials. Nationally and internationally, the city continues to garner positive attention as a flourishing destination with luxury accommodations, world-class parks, diverse gastronomy, and exciting entertainment. There is no doubt that today more and more people are discovering the new Doral, choosing to grow their business, raise their families, and create their memories right here. Doral is the premier place to live, learn, work, and play. Thanks to all of you.
Collection Suites is a private compound of 38 luxury storage suites created by collectors for collectors. Every suite merges a gallery-like space to store your collections with a living space that boasts top-of-the-line technology and finishes. The owner's-only complex is centrally located in Doral, Florida, one of the fastest-growing cities in the country and an attractive playground to investors from all over the world. Collection Suites, luxury storage suites for the true collector.